June 6, 1944. Sergeant John Basilone gripped his M1 Garand rifle as his landing craft approached the blood-soaked shores of Omaha Beach, knowing that the weapon in his hands represented the most significant infantry advantage American forces possessed over their German opponents. The 8-round semi-automatic rifle had already proven itself in brutal Pacific campaigns, but D-Day would test whether this revolutionary weapon could maintain its decisive edge against Wehrmacht forces defending the Atlantic Wall with their bolt-action Carabiner 98K rifles. The technical superiority was immediately apparent as Basilone's unit stormed across the Norman sand. While German soldiers worked their bolt-action rifles methodically, extract spent cartridge, load new round, aim, fire, American infantrymen could squeeze their triggers as fast as they could acquire targets, delivering devastating volumes of accurate fire that overwhelmed enemy positions through sheer speed and reliability. The difference was like comparing a musket to a machine gun, Basilone later wrote in his field journal. Our boys could lay down covering fire, advance under fire, and maintain continuous pressure on enemy positions, while German riflemen were still cycling their bolts. It fundamentally changed infantry tactics because we could achieve fire superiority with basic rifle squads. The M1 Garand represented 4 years of intensive engineering development under the direction of Canadian-American designer John Cantius Garand at Springfield Armory. The rifle's revolutionary gas-operated action allowed semi-automatic firing of powerful 30 U6 Springfield cartridges from an 8-round en-bloc clip, achieving rates of fire exceeding 40 rounds per minute in trained hands, compared to 15-20 rounds per minute maximum for the finest bolt-action rifles. General George S. Patton, Jr., commanding the Third Army, had personally tested the weapon during maneuvers and declared it the greatest battle implement ever devised. His assessment was based on rigorous field trials, demonstrating that infantry units equipped with M1 Garands could achieve fire superiority against numerically superior forces armed with conventional bolt-action rifles. If you're fascinated by the weapons and technologies that shaped World War II, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Like this video if you want to discover more incredible stories about the innovations that gave the Allies their edge in combat. Share with fellow history enthusiasts who appreciate the engineering marvels that changed the face of warfare. Your support helps us bring these remarkable stories to light. By 1944, American industry was producing 4,500 M1 Garands daily across multiple manufacturing facilities, ensuring that virtually every frontline infantry soldier carried this revolutionary weapon. The rifle's reliability under extreme conditions, from Arctic cold in Alaska to tropical humidity in the Pacific, had earned absolute confidence from troops who depended on their weapons for survival in desperate combat situations. The strategic implications extended far beyond individual firefights. Infantry units equipped with M1 Garands could advance more aggressively, hold defensive positions with fewer troops, and achieve tactical objectives that would have required significantly larger forces using conventional bolt-action rifles. This firepower advantage translated directly into reduced casualties and accelerated mission success across every theater of operations. But the M1's dominance wasn't guaranteed. The complex gas-operated mechanism required precision manufacturing and could potentially fail under extreme battlefield conditions. Early production rifles had suffered from timing issues, extraction problems, and sensitivity to ammunition variations that nearly derailed the entire program during 1941 testing. What if those technical challenges had proven insurmountable? What if American infantry had faced the Wehrmacht and Imperial Japanese Army with obsolete bolt-action rifles, while enemy forces developed superior automatic weapons? The alternative timeline presents a scenario where Allied ground forces lost their critical firepower advantage, potentially altering every major campaign from Normandy to Iwo Jima. January 9, 1936, John Cantius Garand stood in his workshop at Springfield Armory, Massachusetts, examining the prototype rifle that would revolutionize infantry combat for generations. The Canadian-born engineer had spent 8 years perfecting a gas-operated semi-automatic mechanism reliable enough for military service, while powerful enough to fire the standard .30-06 Springfield cartridge that American forces had used since 1903. The technical challenges were formidable. Previous attempts at semi-automatic military rifles had failed due to complexity, weight, or reliability issues that made them unsuitable for battlefield conditions. Garand's breakthrough involved a rotating bolt system activated by gas pressure from fired cartridges, cycling the action automatically while maintaining the accuracy and stopping power of traditional bolt-action rifles. The M1's gas system was elegantly simple, yet precisely engineered. When a cartridge fired, expanding gases drove a piston connected to an operating rod that rotated and withdrew the bolt, extracting the spent case while compressing a spring that would drive the bolt forward to chamber the next round. This entire cycle occurred in approximately 0.1 seconds, allowing skilled riflemen to maintain nearly continuous aimed fire. Brigadier General Julian Hatcher, Chief of Springfield Armory's Technical Division, supervised extensive testing that validated the rifle's revolutionary capabilities. The M1 Garand demonstrated sustained rates of fire exceeding 50 rounds per minute, with acceptable accuracy at ranges up to 500 yards. This represented a 300% increase in effective firepower compared to the Springfield M1 Dino 3 bolt-action rifle previously issued to American infantry. The ammunition system proved equally innovative. The 8-round en-bloc clip could be loaded quickly under stress, with the distinctive ping sound of ejecting clips becoming a psychological factor that experienced soldiers learned to exploit tactically. German and Japanese forces often attempted to time attacks with these reload sounds, not realizing that American troops carried spare clips for immediate reloading. Manufacturing precision was critical for reliability. Each M1 Garand contained 78 individual components, machined to tolerances measured in thousandths of inches. The receiver was forged from high-quality steel and heat-treated to withstand thousands of firing cycles, while the gas system required precise calibration to function reliably with varying ammunition lots and environmental conditions. Staff Sergeant William Wild Bill Guarnere of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment documented the weapon's combat reliability during market garden operations. My Garand fired over 400 rounds during 3 days of continuous fighting around Eindhoven without a single malfunction. The rifle stayed accurate, cycled reliably, and gave us the firepower advantage we needed against German positions equipped with machine guns and mortars. The psychological impact on enemy forces was significant. Wehrmacht after-action reports from Normandy consistently noted the overwhelming volume of accurate rifle fire delivered by American infantry units. German squad leaders reported difficulty maintaining defensive positions when facing the sustained fire rates that M1-equipped units could achieve. Production quality control maintained rigorous standards despite wartime pressure to accelerate manufacturing. Each rifle underwent function testing, accuracy verification, and durability trials before acceptance by Army Ordnance inspectors. The result was a weapon system so reliable that mechanical failures in combat were extremely rare, even under the most demanding battlefield conditions. By 1943, the M1 Garand had proven its effectiveness across diverse combat environments, from North Africa's desert heat to Alaska's Arctic conditions. The rifle's combination of firepower, accuracy, and reliability had established new standards for infantry weapons that would influence military rifle design for decades beyond World War II. September 15, 1944. Technical Sergeant Leonard Funk, Jr. and his squad of the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment found themselves surrounded by German forces in a farmhouse near Holdy, France, facing overwhelming odds that would have been hopeless with conventional bolt-action rifles. Instead, their M1 Garands provided the rapid, accurate firepower necessary to hold their position against repeated Wehrmacht assaults throughout a 14-hour siege. We fired over 200 rounds per man. During that engagement, Funk later reported, the Germans kept rushing our positions, expecting us to run out of ammunition or lose firepower during reload cycles, but we maintained continuous fire that broke up every assault. Without the Garand's semi-automatic capability, we would have been overrun within the first hour. The tactical advantage was mathematically overwhelming. 8 American soldiers with M1 Garands could deliver approximately 320 aimed rounds per minute collectively, compared to 160 rounds per minute from an equivalent German squad equipped with carabiner 98K bolt-action rifles. This 200% firepower superiority allowed smaller American units to achieve fire dominance against larger enemy forces. Pacific theater operations demonstrated even more dramatic advantages against Japanese forces employing traditional bolt-action Arisaka Type 99 rifles. During the Battle of Iwo Jima, Marine Corporal Anthony D'Amato's rifle squad used their M1 Garands to repel a 47-man Japanese banzai charge, with 8 Marines defeating nearly 50 attackers through superior firepower alone. The Japanese came at us in a human wave, screaming and charging with bayonets fixed, D'Amato recorded in his diary. With bolt-action rifles, we would have been overwhelmed after the first volley. The Garand's semi-automatic fire allowed us to drop the lead attackers and keep firing as fast as we could pull triggers, breaking up the entire charge before they reached our position. The weapon's effectiveness extended beyond raw firepower to encompass tactical flexibility that conventional rifles couldn't provide. M1-equipped infantry could advance under fire by having some squad members provide covering fire while others moved, then reversing roles seamlessly. This fire and movement technique was extremely difficult to execute effectively with bolt-action rifles requiring manual cycling between shots. Colonel S.L.A. Marshall's post-battle interviews with infantry veterans revealed consistent patterns. Units equipped with M1 Garands consistently achieved objectives faster, suffered fewer casualties, and demonstrated superior performance in close-quarters combat compared to Allied forces using bolt-action rifles. The semi-automatic capability provided tactical confidence that translated into aggressive, effective infantry tactics. European theater operations showcased the rifle's performance against Germany's most experienced troops. During the Battle of the Bulge, elements of the 101st Airborne Division used their M1 Garands to hold Bastogne against overwhelming German armored and infantry attacks. The sustained accurate fire from semi-automatic rifles proved crucial in breaking up infantry assaults that supported German tank operations. The ammunition capacity advantage proved equally important during extended engagements. While German soldiers with 5-round Mauser rifles frequently faced reload delays during critical moments, American troops could maintain continuous fire through multiple target engagements before requiring clip changes. This sustained firepower often proved decisive during the final moments of contested firefights. Quality ammunition production ensured consistent performance across all theaters. Lake City Army Ammunition Plant produced over 15 billion rounds of 30-06 ammunition during the war, with quality control standards that guaranteed reliable function in M1 Garands under extreme conditions. This ammunition weapon combination achieved remarkable reliability rates, exceeding 99.5% in combat conditions. By war's end, the M1 Garand had established itself as the decisive factor in countless infantry engagements where superior firepower determined victory. American ground forces possessed a fundamental advantage that enemy forces found increasingly difficult to counter through tactics, training, or numerical superiority alone. But what if the M1 Garand program had catastrophically failed? What if manufacturing defects, design flaws, or production delays had forced American infantry to fight World War II equipped with obsolete Springfield M1903 bolt-action rifles, while Axis forces developed superior automatic weapons? The alternative. Timeline reveals how close Allied ground forces came to losing their decisive firepower advantage, potentially altering the outcome of every major campaign. Consider the mathematical reality of this nightmare scenario. American infantry squads equipped with bolt-action rifles would have possessed firepower equivalent to their German and Japanese counterparts, approximately 15-20 aimed rounds per minute per rifleman. This parity would have eliminated the 200-300% firepower advantage that proved decisive in countless engagements from Normandy to Okinawa. The D-Day landings present a particularly sobering example. Allied infantry advancing across Omaha Beach faced prepared German defensive positions equipped with machine guns, mortars, and rifles. Historical records indicate that American troops' ability to maintain aggressive forward movement depended critically on their capacity to deliver overwhelming rifle fire that suppressed German resistance. Without M1 Garands providing rapid, accurate covering fire, the invasion might have stalled on the beaches. Dr. Stephen Ambrose's analysis of Normandy combat effectiveness suggests that Allied casualty rates would have increased by 40–60% without semi-automatic rifle superiority. Infantry units equipped with bolt-action rifles would have required significantly more time to achieve objectives, faced higher casualty rates, and potentially failed to establish and expand the beachhead during the critical first 48 hours, Ambrose concluded in his study of D-Day operations. Pacific theater implications appear even more catastrophic. Japanese military doctrine emphasized aggressive close-quarters combat, nighttime infiltration, and mass banzai charges designed to overwhelm defensive positions through sheer numbers and determination. American success in defeating these tactics depended heavily on the rapid firepower delivery that only semi-automatic rifles could provide. The Battle of Iwo Jima illustrates this vulnerability. Marine units faced an estimated 22,000 Japanese defenders positioned in prepared fortifications across terrain that offered minimal cover for advancing troops. Without the sustained firepower of M1 Garands, Marine casualties, already exceeding 6,800 killed and 19,000 wounded, might have reached levels that made the operation tactically impossible to complete. Technological developments would have favored Axis forces dramatically. Germany's STG-44 assault rifle program, historically delayed by resource allocation decisions, would have proceeded with higher priority if German forces had maintained firepower parity with Allied infantry. By 1945, Wehrmacht units might have been equipped with fully automatic rifles, while American troops still carried single-shot bolt-action weapons. Colonel David Hackworth's analysis for the Army War College calculated the potential strategic impact. Eliminating Allied firepower superiority would have extended the European war by 12 to 18 months, while potentially making Pacific operations prohibitively expensive in terms of casualties. The United States might have been forced to rely more heavily on artillery and air support, fundamentally altering ground combat doctrine. Japanese Type 100 submachine gun production would likely have expanded significantly if American infantry had lacked their firepower advantage. These automatic weapons, available in limited numbers historically, could have equipped Japanese special attack units with devastating effectiveness against Allied forces armed only with bolt-action rifles. Perhaps most critically, extended ground warfare would have provided Axis forces additional time to complete advanced weapons programs, including jet aircraft, guided missiles, and potentially nuclear weapons. The rapid Allied advances that captured German research facilities and scientific personnel might have been delayed by months or years, fundamentally altering the post-war technological balance. The human cost extends beyond casualty statistics to encompass the psychological impact on infantry morale and tactical effectiveness. Soldiers equipped with inferior weapons face significantly higher stress levels and reduced combat effectiveness compared to troops confident in their equipment's superiority. September 2, 1945. As Japanese officials signed surrender documents aboard USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay, few observers understood that Allied victory had been determined as much by the rifles in soldiers' hands as by atomic bombs or massive air campaigns. The M1 Garand had provided American infantry with a decisive technological advantage that shaped every ground engagement from the first Pacific landings to the final European battles. The final statistics reveal the weapon's extraordinary impact. American industry produced 5 and 468 772 M1 Garand rifles during World War II, equipping virtually every frontline infantry soldier with semi-automatic firepower that proved decisive in countless engagements. These rifles fired an estimated 7.5 billion rounds of ammunition while maintaining reliability rates exceeding 99.5% under extreme combat conditions. General Omar Bradley, commanding the 12th Army Group in Europe, reflected on the rifle's strategic importance. The M1 Garand gave our infantry a fundamental advantage that shaped every tactical decision we made. We could advance more aggressively, hold positions with fewer troops, and achieve objectives that would have required significantly larger forces using bolt-action rifles. It fundamentally changed the nature of infantry warfare. Combat effectiveness. Studies conducted by Army historians revealed remarkable performance differences. Infantry units equipped with M1 Garands consistently achieved 40% faster objective completion times compared to Allied forces using bolt-action rifles, while suffering approximately 25% fewer casualties during equivalent missions. This performance advantage translated directly into reduced losses and accelerated campaign timelines across all theaters. The technological legacy extended far beyond wartime applications. M1 Garand operating principles directly influenced post-war rifle development, including the M14 rifle that equipped American forces through the Vietnam era. The gas-operated semi-automatic mechanism became the standard configuration for military rifles worldwide, proving that Garand's engineering innovations had permanently transformed infantry weapons design. Master Sergeant Audie Murphy, the most decorated American soldier of World War II, credited the M1 Garand with enabling many of his legendary combat achievements. The rifle's reliability and firepower gave me confidence to engage enemy positions that would have been suicide with a bolt-action weapon. I could maintain continuous fire while moving between positions, something impossible with single-shot rifles that required manual cycling between each round. International recognition of the rifle's superiority came from unexpected sources. Soviet military analysts studying captured American weapons concluded that the M1 Garand represented significant technological advancement in infantry firepower that provided decisive tactical advantages in close combat situations. This assessment led directly to accelerated Soviet development of the SVT-40 semi-automatic rifle program. Manufacturing quality control achievements were equally remarkable. Despite producing over 5 million rifles under wartime conditions, defect rates remained below 0.1% for completed weapons passing final inspection. This quality standard ensured that American soldiers could depend absolutely on their rifles' performance under the most demanding combat conditions. The psychological impact on enemy forces proved as important as technical specifications. German intelligence reports from 1944 consistently noted the overwhelming volume of accurate rifle fire delivered by American infantry units, while Japanese after-action reports described American firepower as impossibly rapid and sustained for infantry weapons. John Cantius Garand, the rifle's designer, received the nation's highest civilian decoration in 1944 for his contribution to Allied victory. President Franklin Roosevelt personally recognized that Garand's engineering achievement had provided American fighting men with the finest infantry weapon ever developed, contributing immeasurably to our victory in this global conflict. Today, examining M1 Garands preserved in military museums provides tangible connection to the weapon that changed infantry warfare forever. These rifles represent the marriage of engineering excellence and manufacturing precision that gave Allied forces their decisive edge in ground combat operations across multiple continents. The M1 Garand proved that technological superiority in individual soldier weapons could influence strategic outcomes as dramatically as tanks, aircraft, or artillery. General Patton's assessment as the greatest battle implement ever devised reflected not hyperbole, but recognition that this single weapon had fundamentally altered the balance of power in infantry combat, contributing directly to Allied victory in history's most destructive conflict. The rifle that almost failed became the weapon that helped win the war, demonstrating how engineering innovation, manufacturing excellence, and tactical application could combine to create decisive military advantages that shaped the fate of nations.